Hi, everybody. Susan Finch here, your host for All Volunteer, All Heart for Binky Patrol. And today I have somebody that I met through another organization I'm involved with. She's down in Orange County, and it's Mara James. She is the founder of ELF, Extraordinary Lives Foundation. And I can't wait for you to learn about that and their sister organization, which is Hugs for Life. Both can be found elfempowers.org for the Extraordinary Lives Foundation. Get it, ELF. And the other is Hugs for Life, and you can see the ad acronym hugsforlife.org, and you'll be able to learn more about that organization. But right now, I want to bring our guest on, Mara James. I love what you do, and I'll let you tell everybody, but you just bring me joy when I go to your website. Your book covers bring me joy. Your Piggie Bear brings me joy. And I want to hear, I've read your story, and people can go check out your full long bio, but you very much inspire me and align with me that you took something that was, let's call it inconvenient to your life, and you spun it.
Yeah.
You turn it around. It's like, huh, let's just do something with this situation and make it better and help other people. And that just sings to my heart. So welcome, Mara James. I'm so happy to have you on our show.
Great to be here.
So give us a little bit of history. I'm sure way more people have heard about you than have heard of us, because you just seem to have everything put together so beautifully. And I've heard your story on what led you there, but let's catch everybody up a little bit.
hmm I'll just say I'm the founder and CEO of the Extraordinary Lives Foundation, otherwise known as ELF. And also we have two different programs, and I'll get into that. But one of them, we're moving out into a second nonprofit. So now we have, ELF's mission is to improve children's mental health and emotional wellness. And if you see behind us, we have this adorable character, Piggie Bear, that's all about teaching young children emotional wellness, mental health, beautiful, loving skills. And it's also for us adults. And then we have the Hugs for Life Healing Center, where Hugs is healing, understanding, growth, and spirituality. And that bridges the gap between medical professionals and holistic healers. And really, because Piggie Bear is now getting into schools with our Children's Emotional Wellness Week, otherwise known as CHEW program, we kind of need to separate the church and the state, right? We need to be very evidence-based, get into schools. And then with our healers, they're not all evidence-based, but the proof is in the pudding. So what got me to this point? Well, 10 years ago, at the age of 48 years old, do the math the other way. So I'm 38, not 58, right? Anyway, so 10 years ago, out of the blue, I experienced a manic episode, diagnosed with bipolar disorder, didn't even know I had any issues. I had undiagnosed PTSD and anxiety, but it was also a really, really big spiritual awakening. From the point that there was zero God, zero universe, to like God and I are one, and this God something is talking to me and giving me messages. And it's interesting because I'm writing a book called Unconditional. It's mental health redefined, and it's going back and forth between me and my editor. And in the past month or so, two different people said to me, you had a near-death experience. I'm like, thank you for that. Because when you have a near-death experience, no one diagnoses you, quote unquote, crazy, which I don't love the term. But and because so much of my story does sound kind of crazy, though I'd like to say crazy amazing. And so that's really been interesting. So I am just on this journey that as I've healed myself and my inner child, I'm here to help inspire, educate, and heal the world. So Piggie Bear came about during my manic episode, and I became obsessed with this stuff. Animal, it was a pig. I'm like, power the pig, pig's gonna save the world. And I transformed, I showed it to a woman. And
Uh-huh.
she's like, oh, it looks more like the bear than a pig. And I'm like, oh my God, it was so judgmental. It was so perfect. So that's where the name came. And I will tell you, Piggie Bear came through me. I did not create it. This is just too much goodness for someone to take credit for. So, and we're in yoga and we're learning about like, we did this. And I'm like, oh my God, this feels amazing. So we started writing about emotions, and then the self-hug for self-love and how it releases oxytocin in the brain. And any child or adult can really help us calm our emotions. And then the power of the Piggie Bear's deep belly breathing, right? When we take a breath and our shoulders go up, that increases anxiety, and no one tells us that. So how do we keep our shoulders down and extend our belly, which is very counterintuitive? So breathing in through our nose and extending the belly. And you do that 5 times and it's like, whoa, it's really relaxing. So just so many great fun things that we are teaching young children and of course adults too. To just get Piggy Bear's teachings out into the world, helps with emotional well-being. It's about, don't judge others and love and kindness. And yeah, it's been a really cool journey.
It sounds like it, and you've touched so many lives. So, what is the spread? I mean, how many schools are you guys in?
So we started we have two programs with Piggy Bear. So we have the CHEW program, Children's Emotional Wellness Week, which we started last year. We donated to 80 schools to test it. It was wonderful. And this year we're going to be donating to about 225, and we just keep raising funds to grow. And, my vision, I became this visionary after my spiritual awakening, is that we will one day be in pre-K all the way through 12th grade. And for 1 week in September, each classroom will host this program and it'll be appropriate for each grade. And we work because when you have young children, talking about mental health is a really hefty word, especially when two of my three gifted children have their mental health challenges. It's very hard. And I just don't think we're getting rid of the stigma. But what I was inspired to do is work with Assemblywoman Lori Davies and California State Treasurer Fiona Ma to proclaim September as Children's Emotional Wellness Month. And it's a much lighter energy. So who doesn't want to have better emotional wellness? But if you say someone's mental versus emotional, there's those negative
Yeah.
connotations. So we're again right now in preschools donating to the low-income Title I schools. We are making the program available for teachers to purchase for their classrooms. And it's great because if a child's acting out or if you need a reset, it's not like, okay, let's do our deep our breathing. It's like, okay, guys, like, let's do our Piggy Bear breathing, or let's give ourselves a Piggy Bear hug, or what would Piggy Bear do in this situation? It's just such a fun and light, loving energy that really helps to transform. But we also have something called our Piggy Bear toolkits. BEAR stands for Building Emotional Awareness and Resilience. So what it is the child will receive their own plush and the Power Piggy Bear book, either bilingual or English for now, bilingual English and Spanish. And these are we partner with different nonprofits and we'll give it to foster kids, homeless shelters, children in the hospital. I just met with the Red Cross on Friday, and I didn't even know this, that the Red Cross they work 24/7. Whenever there's a house fire, they will be the ones to be there to help the family that gets displaced and help them with their mental health and emotional wellness. So I thought that was really profound. I said, this would be such a great tool for children. Listen, it was great for adults too, because when I was doing my inner child healing, I was holding on to Piggy Bear for dear life, in my 50s. So yeah, we're just looking to grow and expand. I know there are some therapists that will refer Piggy Bear out to their parents to help the children that have been going through some challenging situations.
Oh my goodness. I love the vision, though, the goals and the growth that you're already on. I spoke with my niece over the weekend, and her husband is a psychologist, and he deals with children and teens that have a lot of issues. And their own daughter, they realize, guess what? She needs some help. And I love that my niece said, "What would you advise your client? What would you tell them?" And he said, "I'd have them call their pediatrician and to, figure this out." And so they did. And now they're coming up with a plan to help, with her anxieties that she has about different things. And neighbor kids, I hear it all the time when people hear what I do with Binky Patrol. We make blankets, we give them to kids that need a reminder that they matter, that somebody cares, that they're not invisible. And people open up to me with their stories, and sometimes I'm not ready for it. Sometimes I am, but more and more I'm seeing the common thread of giving the kids the tools, taking the time rather than just correcting, rather than being frustrated, giving them the tools for themselves to be able to learn how to reframe.
I love that.
And reframing, to do it like you were saying, with that positive tone, rather than, "Oh, we got to fix you." It's, "Hey, let's find a new way to do this." Or, "Remember that thing and how much fun that was?
Yeah.
Can we try that again? Because that was really silly."
I
And
love that. And remember, so there's like the 3 to 7 year olds, which is fun with Piggie
yes.
Bear. And then what you're talking about is more hugs. And I'll get into that in a moment. I just want to say we just send patches and they attach them to weighted blankets. And this other nonprofit is donating them to children and soldiers that have PTSD. So love to speak to you about that offline because if you're getting, it could be so much more, right? We'd love to really, in addition to all Piggie Bear and Elf, my part of my life purpose I know is to really bring in redefining what mental health is. There are several things that haven't been discussed that have been life changing for me. And we do actually Hoag Hospital paid us last year to give a training because their therapists are having patients that are hearing and seeing things. And instead of saying, here's medication or we'll lock you up and oh my God, they're crazy, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, let's look at the gift. And we called it understanding subtle senses. And it's beautiful. Because what happens if we don't understand? Like, let me tell you, 20 years ago, they would have locked me up. I would have sworn that God was talking to me and they would have been like, you're crazy. And I've never been clearer in my mind. And
Yes.
then a high school student we had that he couldn't take a test. He had too much anxiety. We said, let's put him in a room by himself. And he had no anxiety. So he was literally feeling other people's emotions. We have so many, oh my God, so many parents of 6 year olds and that are being diagnosed with anxiety or 5 year olds with ADHD. And let's not only look at child, let's look at the parent. And this is where, when we point the fingers to the child, they are just mirroring with the parents what we need to heal or get to heal, as my daughter would say. Needing is being pushy, getting to is more, less judgmental.
It's that reframing.
Yeah, exactly. So I just love parents putting our oxygen masks on first. Now, mind you, there are some parents that are just not going to change. We have a 21-year-old whose parent, the father has no recollection. He thought his mother is perfect. He has no memory of her mental health diagnoses, and the wife is just doesn't have a strong enough backbone to deal with the husband and fight it. So this is where like we'll work with a client, obviously of age because we can't help the parents, but really it's so much helping the family structure.
Sometimes, too, even if you can't solve it or fix it, being informed and the understanding doesn't make it okay. But to have that understanding, at least for me, as I walked through many things in my life, being able to reframe it. My mom, when I was little and kids were mean to me, I was probably mean, but they were mean to me and I didn't have a lot of friends. And my feelings would get hurt. And she would always say, "Oh, Susie, let's pray for them because how sad they're missing out on your friendship." She says, or that they have to be like that. They must be hurting. And so I'm learning, and I feel that we've taught that to our children. We have two. Savannah will be 23 in October and Austin's 19. But they are the most compassionate, logical kids. And they just step back and they take all that personal emotion out of it and really try and walk in that person's shoes and say, maybe there's a reason. Let's try and look at that. And if we can't, I'm checking it out. I know it's not me. It doesn't, I can't wear that. You can try and put that on me, but I'm not wearing it. It doesn't fit. So there must be something over there. And rather than saying there's something wrong with you, it's like, oh, how
What
can I
happened
be there
here?
for you? How can I listen? How can I, at the very minimum, not get angry by your words, your actions, because
Yeah.
it's not really about me.
Exactly. And as young kids, we're all like, we're narcissistic and we always think it's about us because we need to feel safe. We never could think our parents or our caregivers are the bad ones. We have to internalize it, which carries over. So, and we're all born, quote unquote, as victims, right? Like here we are and life is happening to us and we don't have many decisions and we're told what to do and what not to do. The biggest thing in life is to transform life. Life happens to me, that life happens for me. Like even my manic episode, even when, my clients have cancer, everything we can look at, like life happens for me. Later on, if we get to the point that life happens through us, and that's really powerful. So when we're really upset with somebody, having compassion for them. I didn't even know until I was 52 years old about my childhood trauma. And I won't get into the nitty gritty details, but oh my goodness. And I was 52 and my dad, when I remembered it, was 96. And I didn't need him to apologize to me. I didn't need him, and I found out that through an intuitive healer that when my dad was molested, was a child, he was molested. And of course, like this darkness goes on unless we heal it. And, so we can have compassion for the other person. If they're being mean, it doesn't mean we have to like be friends. We don't have to be friends with them, just having compassion for them because there's a reason where they learned that behavior, but as a little child, it does hurt. It definitely does hurt. But I love like that looking like it's not me, it's them, because it always is. That we, as we say, hurt people, traumatize people, and healed people, heal people.
It's a gift and an opportunity. So, and sometimes we're just there in somebody's life temporarily for the few moments we need to help them bridge to the next thing.
Mm.
They are for us.
Yeah.
And I've learned that I don't have to hold on to people forever.
Yeah.
And for kids to look forward, to try and help kids understand that, hey, look at this new person that's coming in. They're here for now. They're going to help you. Maybe it's mom's good boyfriend. Maybe it's, the visiting auntie that's helping for a little while. Whatever it is, what a gift you get to have for now and some memories. What are you going to do with that time? What do you want to do with that? And when they go, you'll always have that memory. How cool.
I love that.
And it also helps for me. I left my whole family down in California to move to Oregon. And I still have to mitigate that loss, that self-inflicted loss that I created for my family, for my children, to
Mm.
not have their uncles and aunts and cousins around. And from that, I'm trying to learn how to help people with their hard transitions, their moves, their uprooting,
Mhm.
their upheaval.
And helping releasing the guilt, right? Because we did that too,
Mhm.
from the East Coast to the West Coast. And I wasn't thinking what was best like for my kids, and I didn't realize how much it would affect them. I was thinking what's best for our family. And, and I had to work through releasing the guilt from that because I didn't even realize the impact that it has. But we're here to learn and grow, and then we get to go back home, right? So like learning to roll with the punches and learning from every scenario. When we always look at life is happening for me, and what can I learn from this? Or what is, like when you said with the people, they're in our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And taking the good and healing or letting go of the bad is so profound so that we can have like the heaven on earth.
There's so many opportunities for learning. And I am enough of an empath to know that I have not been able to deliver blankets since the first 2 years because I would just sob. I would go to
Yeah.
these shelters, I would go to these clinics, I would go to the hospitals and just sob. And
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. So there are other people that are stronger than I am, like that is what they are great at. And they can deliver it. So I allow them to do that. To them, it's a gift to get to do it. And for me, it's a gift because I can protect myself.
Yeah, so smart. When I was at 2 weeks ago, we were at Miracles for Kids and bringing so much love and light and Piggie Bear, and we had the mascot there, and I was reading the book, and one of the kids was just a 2-year-old. I don't know. My husband's an OBGYN, and I don't know if it's a medical term, a GORP, but at 2 years old, he was just kind of lifeless. It was so, and just seeing that we can make the mother smile was great. But when I got into the car after and looked at the pictures, it was heartbreaking. I definitely lost it. And this is where it's like, okay, we all have our journeys. And if that was really that they were given, then let's just do what we can do to help and kind of removing ourselves. Like my brother and my husband are physicians, and it's not that they're cold-hearted at all, but they,
They
you have
have
to
to.
have a certain sense of, I don't know what it is, because I'd be crying with everybody. And I can never tell anybody, oh my God, you might have cancer. It'd be like, what's the spiritual meaning? Let's Google and let's heal it. But oh my goodness. So
So what's one of your favorite memories since you've started ELF? What's one of those stories that just replays in your head whenever you need a lift?
I love that question because I'm such a visionary and I didn't know what that meant before I had my mental health challenges and spiritual awakening. And I'm like, oh, so the universe is telling me what to do, and it should be done yesterday. It's like no, and like keeping my ego apart from it. So one of the greatest things is I've always seen Piggie Bear teaching kids around the world his love, bringing his love, light, laughter, and his teachings, right? So we were introduced to the former head animator from The Simpsons, and now we have our first animated short film. But not only do we have a short film, I just found out, and we received the physical award. It's in the other room for a telly, which there's a Grammy and Emmys. Well, tellies are for animated short films or for TV commercial. And it was just wow. It was just a really big, listen, when the first book was published and we're looking at it, oh my goodness, definitely this has been really profound. And I spoke with the CEO of Hoag Hospital after, who's a buddy of mine, and I said to him, like, listen, Robert, we need Piggie Bear to be a for-profit making $2 billion, not one, $2 billion. And it's going to be a social enterprise, and net proceeds are going to help fund ELF and Hugs and other amazing organizations that are changing the future generations. And yeah, full force ahead, but also trying not to get my ego attached to anything and know that everything happens in God's time, not mine. It's so rude. But that's okay. I always just say that red rover, let God take over. I am not in control. I don't even pretend to be in control. And if my hips start getting tight, I can tell like I'm either going, like I'm trying to take in control and I'm not being flexible enough. It's like, nope,
Yep.
let's just go with the flow, because you always say it's like I'm in a sailboat and I'm turning the wheel to the right, but the wind is blowing the sail to the left. And I'm like, let go of that wheel, Mara, and just go with the flow.
Yep.
And that's all we could do.
That is. So that's a wonderful vision, hope, dream to put out there because they don't happen until you do.
Yeah.
I've been putting a couple of them out for Binky Patrol lately that my goal is to have a drop-off location, not even an official chapter, a drop-off location in every county in the US that people could make a blanket and drop it off there, and that drop-off location gets to deliver the blanket to wherever they want.
I love it. And
They're
of course, my head starts going into, okay, are they being washed? Are they being sanitized? But
they're all brand new. They're
oh,
brand
they're buying them, they're not making them.
They are making them. They're making them brand new. We don't, but everything has to be homemade.
Right. But when it comes to like to make sure there are no,
Yes.
I won't get into logistics. My brain is just going into, like when we
Yeah.
have the plush and they can't go into the hospitals and where they can go and, they have to be, individually wrapped and all those good stuff.
Yeah. A lot of who we give to are shelters and clinics. And so we're good as they are. And all of our folks have them all clean and pet free and smoke free and all that. Have our little labels on it.
Yes. Oh, I love
And
that.
so if those drop off locations as a group decided, who do we want to give these to that it could help in our neighborhood, in our county?
So, and have you thought, I don't know, public libraries just jumped in my head, but partnering with somebody that they can be the recipients of them.
Exactly. The library system is a great way to do it. That is a great idea. And I was looking for brick and mortar businesses, consumer businesses that would like the traffic too, and that smaller teams.
Oh,
So they could really, it would give them something to talk about other than buy my stuff, use our stuff, eat our stuff.
Yeah.
So that's it. But the library, the beauty, thank you for that, because the beauty of that is it's way more stable than a lot of business chains.
Right.
And libraries are, for the most part, always there. Very, very few county libraries close. That's a great idea. I'll follow up on that. Thank you. So if you had, other than wanting your $2 billion, if you wanted
Not mine. Oh, by the way, I volunteer on my time. I don't even.
No, not for you. Yeah, same here.
To help heal the world. Just to help heal the world.
No, I get that too. So the 2 million that you would like for running this to grow it to where you want it to be, what's a small step? Let's do 2 small steps. I'm going to actually give them to you. I would like everybody to go to elfempowers.org and think of a child or a teen in your life that could use a Piggie Bear and that their life could be better. And if nothing else, if you don't even always have the time to go through and maybe you don't get to be there reading the books with them, but to get them the little set, and that child will know that you thought of them. It's not a lot different than a binky. Yeah. It's saying, you matter enough to me that I want you to have this. And if you get to see that child in person because you have that honor and privilege to be with that person, book some time with them to read the book.
Yeah.
To talk about Piggy, to tell your own story, because children will open up what's really going on when we share, age appropriately, what's going on with us.
Yeah.
So they know it's safe to talk about what's not perfect in their life too.
I love that. That vulnerability is huge.
It really is. And with our children, there, I was around enough parents that overshared. It's like, no, they didn't want to know all those details. All they do is ask this step.
Yeah.
Think as a 4-year-old.
Yes, yes, right.
Stop talking now.
Yeah. I love it. And that's what the Piggie Bear does. He says, open your arms out wide and say, I'm amazing and you are amazing. Don't forget how truly wonderful you are. But there are some days when I don't feel so amazing. I feel sad, lonely, and scared. I call these my boozy, doozy, woozy days. Do you ever feel this way? Every time I'm somewhere, like they'll always say, yes. I remember there was a homeless shelter. There was an 18-year-old. I'm like, come on, come listen. And there were other emotions. And he's like, absolutely, I feel that every day. And it was beautiful that he was able to share that. And then the social worker is able there to help him because we don't want him to feel,
Yes.
I mean, you're allowed to feel sad, lonely, and scared. Just you don't want to feel that every day for the rest of your life. So, I
Right.
love that, like a parent and, or whoever's reading the book with the child, helping them. And that Piggie Bear is creating this safe, vulnerable place for them to share because it could just be life changing.
Well, I think sometimes too, these relatable characters come in waves when they're needed.
Mm-hmm.
And, you and I remember fondly probably Care Bears for, not for us, but for the younger ones than us, when that had its own thing to give those emotions.
Yeah.
You had the Rain Cloud Bear, you had the ones that were sad and things, and that they all helped each other. So you had Care Bears.
Yeah.
And then I, being a child of the 60s, I remember the Flintstones
Of course.
with one character called Good Luck Shamrock, and the opposite was Bad Luck Shamrock, Schleprock.
No, I don't remember them.
And he always had a rain cloud
Yeah.
over him.
Yeah.
And it was always gloomy and sad and dreary, and they couldn't shake him out of it.
Mm.
And how the two, though, they were brothers.
Yeah. Have fun,
And
right?
it's like,
Same
yeah, they go together.
right.
So they're different things that I bring forward with me that I try and remember, how did that make me feel at that age?
Right, right. And then we also have Paper has lots of friends, and they're going to be coming out when we have more books coming out that talks about we don't use the word like ADHD. We call them like energetic and looking what's their superpower and what are their gifts. And each character will have a different type of personality. One might be sassy, one might be shy,
Mm-hmm.
quirky. And then those children can really connect with that character is the goal. And then it's also teaching the other children to recognize like, wow, people are different and that's okay. There's not, don't judge good and bad and just looking at the gifts that are associated with that personality type.
All right, folks. So in addition to finding a child you can buy that gift for, sign up for the newsletters. Be aware, because something might trigger that you can share with somebody that could help them, help a parent, help a teacher do it better, to give more kids strength, a safe space, a safe haven, and options, ways to rethink things, to just have a better life. It starts with one kid.
Yeah.
That's all we do. You just have to start with one, because that one will learn how to tell more.
Yeah.
And just keep going. Don't miss that opportunity. Take the extra few minutes sometimes to think about what's really behind that. Could they use a lift? Could they use somebody in their corner?
We all can, right? And
Oh, we all can.
in addition to the Elf Empowers, there is the hugs for forlife.org.
Yes.
That if you or somebody that's going through some mental and emotional behavioral challenges and are open to complementary holistic healing modalities. So we don't replace Western medicine, we complement it. Come in, do an intake. We are here to help because, as I said before, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. People don't know that, and healing is possible. So please reach out because there's just profound healings that could be done.
Are you affiliated with any healers that are outside of Orange County?
Absolutely. So what's beautiful is we're virtual. So thank you, COVID. Oh my gosh, I have a healer and
Okay.
runs across the country. Yes, we have clients that come in, and we have healers all around. And I love and most of our healers are virtual. I mean, yeah, I've even worked with a chiropractor that does virtual stuff, which is very interesting. Most of them are virtual. There are a couple that are physical on the East Coast, West Coast. Yeah, there's just so many profound things that I've only learned about because I was thrown into my tizzy, 10 years ago.
I love how you've turned this around. What a pleasure this has been to have some time with you and to introduce our audience
Yeah.
to additional ways that they can change lives.
Well, I love the work that you're doing and would love to speak about partnering with the Piggie
I
Bear.
would like that very
So
much.
even more love, like, I'm glad
Yes.
you're out there.
That
Yeah.
gives us strength. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how you fight down the bad.
Yeah. It takes us coming together because there's a
Yep.
lot.
So everybody go to elfempowers.org, ELF empowers.org to learn more and connect with Mara, connect with me. You can find me at binkypatrol.show and our website is binkypatrol.org. And I bet we're going to have an article or two about Elf Empowers just in case you can't remember how to get there. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Susan.